This is the real Tom Rose, and we're dealing with a great question here. I love this question because it appears as though we want to combine this sentence with a conjunction. It is not always easy because the presence or absence of leaves can be helpful. That sounds like it would make sense. However, it does not. The sentence needs to stay separate as it is in the original because what you'll see is, let's just look at the second sentence. Because the presence or absence of leaves can be helpful, as can the size and brilliance of flowers. And then they have a new clause. The real test comes by learning to recognize the areole. The format here is because X, Y. Right? You can't set the sentence up as it's not always easy because X, comma, Y. Right? If you have it's not always easy because, you can only have the one reason after that. So that's the format is not it's not always easy because. That's not the sentence. It's not always easy. That's a complete lockdown sentence which must stay separate. Then we have a whole new sentence. So we can get rid of anything that tries to combine them. So for example, easy although, we get rid of that. Now, how should we combine these? Well, first of all, we have a because and we have an although. Which one of these is more appropriate? We have to look at the context of the sentence. This is a meaning issue. So we say the presence or absence of leaves can be helpful. The real test comes from learning to recognize the areole. So what we're saying is that even though the leaves are helpful, you don't want to use those. So the word because is not appropriate. What we want to do is set apart the ideas that you might use the leaves versus you should use the areole. Right? So the appropriate word here is although. So we don't want because, which means we get rid of the original. The word nevertheless is a meaning. So the semicolon is okay. Grammatically speaking, we have two complete sentences here. One before the semicolon and one after. So that's fine. The word nevertheless, however, is actually a problem. Similar to how because was a problem. So nevertheless implies that the second sentence is referring back to the one that came before it. Right? So it is not easy, nevertheless, and then you would expect them to say something else about the easy or difficultiness of differentiating between cacti and succulents, which they don't do. What they talk about is how to differentiate. This is a new thought, and the word that opens the sentence should relate the X and the Y piece together. The word although does that, nevertheless does not. Nevertheless refers to the sentence before it. So we'll get rid of that. The correct answer is the third one.